Nubia, the company behind the gaming smartphone Red Magic 3. Yes, the one with an internal fan for cooling. And that company has launched an update called the Nubia Red Magic 3S. This smartphone has the updated Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus SoC, a 90Hz refresh rate for the display, more RAM and storage. Now, is this the best gaming hardware currently out there in the market? We put the smartphone to the test to find out. Now, before we go ahead with the full review of the Nubia Red Magic 3S, be sure to subscribe to the Gadgets 360 YouTube channel and click that bell icon so that you're the first to know when we have a new video. The Red Magic 3S still has the same design, although there's a flashy new paint job. Nubia offers this only on the top end variant of the Red Magic 3S. The smartphone sports a big 6.65-inch HDR AMOLED display. There are thick bezels at the top and the bottom of the device, while the ones on the sides are sleek. It also has a 90Hz refresh rate just like the Red Magic 3. The AMOLED display is vivid and we enjoyed watching content on this panel. However, it only has support for Widevine L3, which limits resolution to 480p on video streaming apps. Nubia offers stereo speakers on the Red Magic 3S, which is now expected on a gaming device. There is Corning Gorilla Glass for protection, but Nubia does not mention the version used. All the buttons on the device are on the right side and are easy to reach. The right side of the phone also has a vent to channel air out when the internal fan is spinning. There are two capacitive shoulder buttons on this side, which are easily usable when holding the phone in landscape mode. Sadly, we can't say the same about reaching the top of the display. It is a two-handed operation or requires the phone to be shuffled in the hand. On the left side, there is a proprietary connector which can be used with a supported dock. Just above it is the dual nano SIM tray and a dedicated button to toggle game boost mode. The back of the smartphone has a long RGB light strip running down the middle with a hexagonal fingerprint scanner positioned right above it. The fingerprint scanner at the back is easy to reach and is quick to unlock the smartphone. There is face recognition as well, which is not only convenient but it's also fast. Towards the bottom, there is a Red Magic logo that lights up for incoming notifications, though you can also keep it on at all times. Right above the fingerprint sensor is another vent for the internal fan. This phone has a 3.5mm headphone jack at the top and a USB Type-C port at the bottom. In terms of software, the Red Magic 3S runs Android 9 Pie with a custom UI on top. Our unit was running the August security patch. There are very few pre-installed apps and we did not have any issues navigating through the UI. Launching apps wasn't an issue and the phone could multitask easily without needing to kill apps in the background. The Nubia Red Magic 3S is an update to the Red Magic 3 and gets the more powerful Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus SoC. Nubia has launched the smartphone in two variants. The base variant gets 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, and the higher end variant sports 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Both these variants have UFS 3.0 storage. Gaming was also immersive and the shoulder triggers help make games more engaging. While playing PUBG Mobile, we noticed that these shoulder triggers help improve our performance, and we did not notice any issues with gameplay. The smartphone defaults to the high settings, but it does let you bump the graphics and frame rate up further. We played the game with graphics set to HD and frame rate set to high for about 32 minutes and the phone registered a 9% battery drop. It barely got warm to the touch, but the vent was pushing warm air out. We bumped the graphics up to HDR and the frame rate to extreme and played the game for another 15 minutes, which resulted in a 5% battery drop. The smartphone was slightly warmer in comparison, but still not alarming. It looks like all the cooling hardware that Nubia has added does help manage heat. The Red Magic 3S has a 5000 mAh battery and has support for 27W fast charging. In our HD video loop test, the smartphone managed to go on for 15 hours and 35 minutes. With our usage, which consisted of an active WhatsApp account and playing PUBG Mobile, this phone managed to go on for about a day and a half. In our charging test, the phone got to 32% in 30 minutes using the stock charger, and it took close to an hour and a half to charge the phone completely. The Nubia Red Magic 3S has a single 48MP camera at the back, which is a little surprising considering that most smartphones now sport multi-camera setups. Photos taken with the Nubia Red Magic 3S during the day had good amounts of detail. It managed to lock focus quickly and set the exposure correctly. We noticed that text at a distance was legible on zooming in, but finer details were missing. For close-ups, we noticed that the smartphone could distinguish between the subjects and the backgrounds and managed a good depth of field effect. Since there is no portrait mode on this device, we took a few shots using the electronic aperture mode. But it did not give us the kind of output we were expecting. Low-light shots were decent as well, but we noticed grain in the output on zooming in, and photos weren't very sharp. The Red Magic 3S does have a night mode which delivers slightly better quality. We found photos taken with night mode to be sharper and brighter with better details. At the front, it has a 16 megapixel selfie shooter, and selfies taken indoors with the 16 megapixel front camera were decent but low on fine detail. The camera app has beautification switched on by default, which smoothens skin in the output. The Red Magic 3S has an 8K 30fps video recording mode, which the company says is in beta. It also offers 4K and 1080p video recording at 30fps and 60fps. Nubia has added slow-mo video recording at 480fps, and there's a 1920fps mode also in beta. There's surprisingly no stabilization at 1080p or 4K, which leads to shaky footage. The Nubia Red Magic 3S is completely gaming focused and works well for that purpose. However, this phone does very little to stand out in other areas. The camera performance is below average when compared to other devices in this price range. The base variant of the Nubia Red Magic 3S manages to undercut the Asus ROG Phone 2 by a small margin. The difference is much bigger when considering the top-end variants. Despite this, the Nubia Red Magic 3S isn't that easy to recommend. Now, if you are looking for a gaming smartphone, we would recommend that you put in that little extra and go for the Asus ROG Phone 2 instead. And that was our review of the Nubia Red Magic 3S. Now, what do you think about the smartphone? Let us know in the comment section down below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to gadgets360.com.